Hello people, welcome back to the Capitalist Investor YouTube channel. My name is Ben and you're very welcome here today on today's episode where we look at whether Snow is a buy opportunity right now, just after it's IPO'd. Before we get into today's video guys, if you can smash the like button, and if you find some value in today's video, please do make sure that you hit the red subscribe button so that you can be delivered with more of this content in the future. Without any more delay, let's get into today's video where we talk through whether IPO SNOW is a buy opportunity or not. So I was working today, I was looking at my Twitter app and I saw an article on SNOW and the IPO effect that it had. And I thought, wow, this is a brilliant opportunity for me to make a video on what I think about IPOs. And that's what I'm doing. Let me read to you the headline that I looked at before when I was scrolling through my Twitter. Snowflake's valuation is now roughly the same as the combined market value of CrowdStrike, Trade Desk, Etsy, and Livongo. Just let that sink in. Those entities have been around for a while, and SNOW has IPO'd yesterday and has a market value greater than all four of those companies combined. Let that sink in first. It is currently Thursday the 17th of September, and looking at the share price for SNOW, so that's pretty much a day now after it IPO'd, is currently sitting at around $225. Now that is a huge valuation on a first day initial public offering that went live. But that's not even the heights that it reached on day one. On day one, it actually reached a total of $240 at its peak. It has subsequently since pulled back a reasonable amount, but still a huge valuation for this entity in particular. Now, I'm not going to shy away from the fact, and that's the reason for this video, is that I do not like to purchase IPO initial public offerings of stocks. I just think there's too much that happens in that initial period of time, too much what we call FOMO, where people fear on missing out and effectively drive the price up. So I think at the moment SNOW is probably overvalued, and that's based on my knowledge and own research that I've done on the entity. I actually think this is way over what I would have liked to enter the market at. Now don't get me wrong, I do actually really like what the SNOW business does, and do think that in the future, if the price was, more reasonable, I would actually like to enter a position into SNOW myself. But you've just got to look at the Uber situation where it IPO'd and a year later it was trading at less than what it first IPO'd for. And that's because what typically happens when an entity IPOs is effectively the price drives really high because there's lots of initial excitement around the stock when it first lists. But it detaches itself away from the fundamental earnings and characteristics of the business. Then what happens is those start to catch up, and the entity, effectively the share price, just peaks and then it starts to decrease gradually until usually, and that's where I'm saying Uber is a great example, it actually goes less than what it was on the first IPO date. So yeah, that's not just me saying that's Uber, that is often the case for many IPOs that actually happen. For me, you need to stay away from just IPOs and thinking, wow, this is a great get rich quick way of buying a stock and I can sell it because it's going to go massively up. Just stick to what you know. This channel is not about day trading and those sorts of things. It's about long-term wealth building, and that's why I'm making this video, guys, because I don't think this is at the moment a good purchase for wealth creation. I think what we should be doing is doing background research to understand what we think a fair value of this company is, and it is a great company, and we should be doing that. And then what we should be doing is sitting on that number and waiting for the price to reach that number. If it doesn't reach that number, you've done your fundamental research and there's nothing more you can do, but you'll be in the comfort of knowing that that was your price that you were willing to enter at, not a price that is dictated by lots of random people pushing the price up. That's not cool. Remember, guys, that an IPO is an initial public offering, and the word initial is key here. It doesn't mean that if you don't buy it now, you can never buy it ever again, or you've lost all the gains that could possibly come. It's the initial offering. It's like, you're first being offered something at an extortionate price. but it doesn't mean you can never get it again if you don't buy it now. It's not going to run out of stock. You can buy it again at a later date, and that's something to think about. I read an article a couple of weeks ago that basically talked about 6,000 previous examples of IPOs, and I think it was between sort of like the 1990s and 2010, I think. And effectively what it said is that the majority of those 6,000 IPOs, the majority of them, the companies actually underperformed their initial public offering. So again, it's more statistics to back up the reason why not to invest in Snow right now. I'm not saying don't ever invest in it. Some of the reason why the prices get absolutely rocketed up at the beginning, well, it's purely because people, these are anticipated stocks. So the likes of Airbnb, which will IPO shortly, they're stocks that people are excited about, and hence they're IPOing to capitalize on that huge increase in anticipation, which then inevitably drives up the price. So it is fundamentally coming back to this principle of FOMO, of people missing out on something that's really exciting and new. What does tend to happen, guys, is effectively people that are buying now are locked in for about 180 days once they make their purchase. And that effectively stabilizes the price that we're currently seeing at the moment. So what happens when people can't sell? Well, the price doesn't factor in that people want to sell, and therefore the price just stays, or it keeps to increasing. But obviously once we get past these 180 days, people can start selling. And if people can start selling, what happens to the price? You only have to look at the stock market to look at what happened in March when people wanted to sell. There was a huge demand for selling, and the prices just crashed. So that's what typically happens on these IPOs. We drive up the price because everyone's getting in on it. People then can't get out because everything is detached from actual fundamentals of the business, like a price to book ratio, etc., price to earnings. And effectively, everyone then waits for this expiration of 180 days, sells, and the price comes crashing down to a more reasonable price. And that's called a lockup period, guys. 180 days after the initial public offering, that's called a lockup period. And that's effectively to prevent huge swings in prices where people jump on, jump off, jump on, jump off of the stock. It's supposed to stabilize the stock. Now let's talk about some specifics for Snow. The actual IPO initial valuation was $120, and now somehow we're at $240, so it's doubled in pretty much a day. And the initial guidance for what the price was going to be was actually around $80, which seems a bit more reasonable, and that's based on looking at the actual forward-looking possibilities of the entity. The $120 listing price was actually 83 times LTM sale, and actually even at that price, that's some of the largest multiples we've actually seen for the SaaS. And this comes back to my point that I think it's all broken away from the fundamentals of the business, and actually hype has taken over here. I'm sure there's many day traders out there who are making large amounts of money betting on the short-term impact of Snow. But for me, as I said before, I'm not about that, and that doesn't interest me. And therefore, guys, I will not be investing in Snow any period until that price really comes down. I've been doing my research, and I'm thinking a more fair price would be around the initial price they were looking at, around $80 for now. But that would be with growth as the business continues to grow, because it is a great business. One man who I know is making lots of money from Snow currently will be none other than Warren Buffett, who obviously has been benefiting from the surge in the price, as he was very much involved in the Snow IPO from the beginning. And therefore, I think it's estimated around 800 million he might have made over the course of the last couple of days. Fair play to one of the greatest investors that we all know and love. Listen, guys, I'm not always right, but I've told you how I feel. Do let me know how you think the Snow IPO has gone, whether you would invest in it, or any challenges that you think lay ahead for Snow and its valuations that it's currently at around $240. Do let me know in the comments below what you think. If you've liked today's spontaneous video off the back of the IPO, also do let me know. Do make sure you smash that like button so I know that you want more content like this in the future. And if you've made it this far, guys, why not hit me up with a subscribe button just below, hit the red one just down there. And yeah, why not check out one of my other videos such as CrowdStrike. That's another interesting growth stock that I've done a review on, so I'll leave a card just up here. You can check that one out. Yeah, guys, and until next time. Wait, I didn't even say my caption mark. That's 2 videos in a row. You'll see on my other one that I've recorded that's going out this weekend, I've made the same mistake. Anyway, guys, I've been the Capitalist Investor. You've been the lovely YouTube. And until next time, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.